Thank you for tuning in. I pray that you are in good spirits because I'm going to need you to have them for today, and I'm going to need you to bear with me for today. Before we get into that, I just want to pray that whoever is listening receives this message in love and in growth, and whoever needs to hear this message to help those men in their life will receive this message as well. Today's message, I'm going to need you to stick with me. Today's message is it is not okay for men to cry. It is not okay for men to cry. Now, I know how that sounds. I know how that sounds. So I'm going to need you to stick with me. I'm really going to need you to stick with me because every single man needs to hear this message. And every woman that has a son, a father, a brother, a male friend, a boyfriend, or a husband needs to hear this message. Period. There is no exception. Because for too long, we have had men not be complete men because they feel that they need to hide a piece of themselves, and that piece is a lot bigger than what they believe. And that piece is emotional intelligence. That piece is sensitivity. That piece is emotional control. So I pray that today and next week, I can help all men better this, and all women help their men better this as well. So with that being said, it is not okay for men to cry. It's okay for men to cry is a lie. It's okay for men to cry is a lie. And the only reason I say that is because men have been taught, trained, that it is not okay for them to cry. Men have been taught and trained that it is not okay for them to cry. And in simian fashion, I want to give you the definitions of these words. To teach someone means to show or explain how to do something. It means to encourage someone to accept something as a fact or a principle. So to teach someone means to show or explain how to do something, or to encourage someone to accept something as a fact or principle. Now, I want to show you why I use teach and train, because the word train means to teach a particular skill or behavior through practice over a period of time. So for the people that believe this is not deeply ingrained in the men that are dealing with this, it's a lie. Because many men have been dealing with this. Most men that deal with this, it starts in childhood. It starts before they can even develop a sense of identity. It starts before they even know who they are or what they want. They don't even know how to thrive because they've been trained to survive. And the reason that I use trained is because trained as a definition does not only apply to a person, but it more specifically applies to animals. Train means to cause to grow in a particular direction or into a required shape. Men have been trained. This is what you need to do to survive. If you want a wife, if you want people to care about you, if you want people to like you, if you want people to love you, if you want people to respect you, it has nothing to do with how good of a person that you are. It has nothing to do with what you do for others. It has everything to do with what you can provide for others, the services, the amount of money that you have, your success. It has nothing to do with, are you a good person? Are you integrous? Are you honest? Are you dependable? Are you loyal? This is why I say men have been taught and trained, because to train means to teach someone a behavior over a period of time. This is why the word trained is typically attributed to animals, because that's how men act. We don't act to thrive. We act to survive. So many men do not act to thrive. We act to survive, and then wonder why the suicide rate is 4 times that of women. We already have 500,000 suicides, and 75% of them are men. That's scary. And you want to know why? One reason why is because they can't cry. They cannot let out any of the emotion. And scientifically and physically, it makes their life harder because now they're doubling down on the stress. Now they're making their work harder because what a lot of people don't understand is depression makes even the small duties a task, just to make sure that man eats, just to make sure that man goes to the gym or is actually productive at his job. He has to be on point mentally. And many men are not, because they have not let go of the peace that they constantly need to let go, or periodically need to let go. I am not saying that it is okay for you to cry about everything. No, you are a man. You need to learn how to assess the situation and then change the situation. However, some situations you can no longer change because they have already happened, but you have still yet to let go of them. That is what trauma is. That is what PTSD is. And the last definition I want to give you is the definition of the word okay. The reason I say it's not okay for men to cry is because for something to be okay, that means you have to agree or accept it. Okay means to express agreement or acceptance. It means to authorize or to approve. And this is why I say it is not okay for men to cry, because so many people, male and female, will not approve of it. It doesn't matter if that man is losing his job. It doesn't matter if that man is losing his child. It doesn't matter if that man is losing his mind. It is still not approved. It is still never authorized. It is still thought to be weak. But it's not thought to be weak when that man is yelling and screaming. And that man has to yell and scream because he has not cried. He has not talked. He has to yell because he hasn't talked. And he has to scream because he hasn't cried. And I'm not saying you need to go in the corner and cry. You can cry under a bench at the gym. You can cry in the park walking or doing yoga. You can cry at church praying. But you have to let it go. And the reason why so many men can't cry is because they can't talk about what they know will make them cry. You already know that's going to get you emotional, so you don't talk about it to anyone. And that's why so many men refuse therapy. It's time to let that go, brother. It's time to let that go. And for my sisters, you need to encourage that man to let that go. But I do want to give you hope. Even if it is not okay now, it will be. Even if it's not okay now, it will be. So even if it's not okay for men to cry now, it will be. Why? Because of the work that so many men are doing to make it okay. Because of so many of the conversations that men are now having wholeheartedly and transparently to make it happen, not only for themselves in the future, but for their sons, their nephews, their younger cousins, their friends. I have two friends, and I've had two male friends for the past 13 years of my life. I talked to one last night, and we both helped each other off of a cliff. You want to know what my best friend said to me? You might be on a ledge, but you forget that you're a giant. Fellas, you might be on a ledge, but you forget that you're a giant. So even if you fall off, you still don't have far to go. You might be on that ledge ready to jump and let all of it go, but you don't realize how big you are. So even when you jump off that ledge, it's like hopping off of a curb. I need you to realize how strong you are. I need you to realize how powerful you are. I need you to realize how much you mean outside of a paycheck, outside of a job, outside of everything that everybody else needs and requires from you. I need you to realize how strong you are for you. You are alive, therefore you are successful. Because every single day is a trial. And the only way you fail is to let it go. The only way you fail is to let it go. You are still here. After the way that this country is going, after all of the pandemics, after all of the societal craziness, you are still here. So while you may not feel like a winner, you are successful because you still have a chance to not only fulfill your dreams, but elevate them. You think your dream is big, but you don't realize how big you are. So I need you to dream bigger. And even if it's not okay now, it will be. So the next time, fellas, someone asks if you're okay, and you've never said, no, I'm not okay, I challenge you to say, no, but I will be. That's why I say, even if it's not okay, it will be. You might not be okay right now, but you will be. You might not have an answer right now, but you will. You might not feel okay right now, but you will. You may not want to live right now, but I promise you will. And the reason I say it is not okay right now, because making anything a norm or a standard takes time. And we are one generation removed from men hiding their emotions. We are the generation that is making that change to make it okay to have emotional intelligence, to make it okay to be transparent about our emotions, to make it okay to love on our brothers, and to actually tell each other what is going on. We are the first to have open conversations, not just with each other, not just online, not just on podcasts, not just on social media, but whenever the need arises. We are the first. So I need you to understand it's not okay right now, but it will be, because we will be. We are making it okay. And that is why this message needs to happen. So I'm going to give you the steps for standardization. If we are going to make it okay for men to be emotionally transparent, this is what we are going to have to do to standardize this, to make this a norm. There's 3 main steps to any standard that happens. You have to set the standard, you have to spread the standard, and then you have to own the standard. You have to set the standard, spread the standard, and then own the standard. To set the standard, you have to create or advocate for a new belief or behavior. You have to create or advocate for a new belief or behavior if you want to set the standard. To spread the standard, when others accept the new standard and encourage others to do so. To spread the standard is when others accept the new standard and encourage others to do so. So just because you are okay being emotionally transparent, if you don't make a safe space for your homies, if you don't make a safe space for your brothers, if you don't make a safe space for your father. My father's been married to my mother for 31 years and about 6 months. We've never really had an emotional conversation. I had to be the one to make that move and say, hey, Dad, it's okay. I love you. If you need to talk, I'm here. Regardless of what you do, have done, or will do, I still love you. I had to make that happen. My father is 58 years old? No, I'm sorry, 56. My father's 56 years old. And I had to be the one to make that happen. You have to set the standard. I set that standard in myself, but I had to spread that standard to my own father. I had to spread that standard to my nephew. When my sister had him as a teenager, I moved with my family because I knew that no other man in his life had the emotional intelligence or the capacity to let him cry, to let him own up to things, to let him be honest, to let him be transparent, to let him be himself, to teach him how to watch out for his mother, to teach him how to hold himself accountable so that when his mother and his other family members remove his boundaries or cross his boundaries, he can still uphold them and uphold them with love and respect. So set the standard, number 1. Number 2, spread the standard. But number 3, we have to own the standard. To own the standard is when the standard is so accepted that anything contrary is now deemed wrong. Homophobia is not okay anymore. Last generation it was. And every single name, every single adjective, every single derogatory remark that they made back then as a joke is no longer okay. Why? Because LGBTQIA+ set the standard Then they spread the standard, and we, as a culture, as a people, even if we don't agree or even if we don't live that practice, we owned the standard because we have to respect each other. So, fellas, the reason we are getting respect is because we have not set the standard in ourselves. We have not spread the standard to the people around us. And most importantly, our mothers, our girlfriends, our wives, and the people that we hang around so much. We hide from them. And then we don't even give them the opportunity to help us because we have yet to spread the standard. And when we own the standard as a society, it will be okay. I want my nephew to grow up in a society to where he doesn't feel he has to hide his emotions from his own girlfriend or his own wife, because so many men right now are doing that and have done that in their previous marriage. And it's one of the reasons that they're divorced. I want best for you. And if you want to get married and if you want a long lasting relationship, most importantly with yourself, you have to set that standard. And when you set that standard, I need you to have grace. I need you to have grace for the parents, the family members, the significant others, the friends who you felt were not there when you needed them to be there. Because you have to understand, they were operating under the old standard. So imagine you had parents that were racist. Now you coming up in the generation, and it was still a problem, a prevalent problem, have to explain to them, hey, grandma, that's not okay. Yeah, that was okay in the 50s. It's no longer okay. I need you to have that same grace that you would for a racist person that's your family member, because you have to love them. I need you to have that same grace for transphobia or homophobia, because it used to be widely ridiculed and attacked. And now we are creating, it's still not there, but we as a society are creating a safe space for men not to hide their personality, their sexuality, or whatever it needs to be. So you have to forgive them for not accepting your new norm, for not accepting your boundary. They were operating under the old norm. So I need you to have grace. Because if you are afraid to set and to spread the new norm, you are just as culpable for accepting the old one. So you want people to be there when you cry, but you never want to let anyone see you cry. You're a part of the problem. No one can be there for you if they don't know who you are. No one can be there for Peter Parker because they don't know he's Spider-Man. Nobody can be there for Clark Kent because they don't know he's Superman. Take off the mask, take off the cape, because you're still that person underneath. Superman never had to pretend to be Superman. He had to pretend to be Clark Kent. Superman never had to pretend to be Superman. He had to pretend to be Clark Kent. And we have too many men pretending to be something they are not. And they are being weaker than what they assume letting their emotions out would make them. Take off that cape. Take off that mask. Because it is okay. It is okay. And the best way to show grace is with consistency in your new norm, strength in your boundaries, and patience with your surroundings. I will say that again. The best way to show grace is with the consistency in your new norm. Whether you found a better relationship with God, whether you're being more emotional, whether you're being more conversational, whether you're being more open and transparent and honest, you need to show grace with the consistency in your effort. Because when you show up for yourself, people have no other option but to show up for you. And if they don't show up for you, they have no other option but to leave. You're allowing people to stay in your life who will not show up for you and who will not leave. They're just standing there. And you're wondering why you have so many quote unquote innocent bystanders when we have so many suicides, because nobody knows. The best way to show grace is with consistency in your new norm. strength in your boundaries. If you say something, I need you to mean it. Don't say no and then be maybe later. Don't say no and then be like, oh, okay, cool. If this will make you happy. No, you need to make yourself happy first, because that is part of the reason you're in the mess that you're in right now. You've been making too many people happy for way too long. Stop it. You can't please God and please the devil. Now, I'm not calling the people who depend on you the devil. I am not. What I am saying is, if putting other people before you hurts you, that spirit, that mentality is your devil. And not being taught is not an excuse for not learning, fellas. Not being taught something is not an excuse for not learning. When you don't work to find the solution to the equation, you become the problem. I'll say that again for my mathematicians out there. When you don't work to find the solution to the equation, you then become the problem. So fellas, if you don't learn to cook for yourself, if you don't learn to clean for yourself, if you don't learn to communicate for yourself, it's not your mom's or your dad's fault. You're an adult now. So the same way that that applies to the bare necessities of being a human being, I need you to understand that applies to the necessities of you thriving and no longer surviving. For too many generations, we said, oh, my dad was like this, so I'm like this. My grandpa was like this, so I'm like this. No, be who you want to be, and don't be who you feel you need or have to be, because you have to create a balance. Yes, as men, we have responsibilities and we have priorities, but that is not your entire life. That is not your entire life. So I need you to teach yourself, because not being taught is not an excuse for you not learning. I need you to understand that. Not being taught is not an excuse for you not learning. Because as leaders, when we win, the team did good. But when we lose, then I did bad. And that's what so many people don't understand about being a man. We have to take the responsibility in our relationship. We have to take the responsibility in the families that we create. Think Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, the list goes on. Anybody who is the head of a team, a franchise, or an organization, when the team does good, we do good. But when the team loses, they come in to ask you the questions first. When your mama feels a problem, she's coming to ask you the questions. When your girl feels a problem, she's coming to ask you the questions. But when we good, then they don't have the same praise. And so many people don't understand why so many men don't want to step to the podium after a loss in the playoffs. Because we can't talk. We are losing. We feel down. We don't have the answers. We want to leave. And not the relationship, I mean earth, life, period. So as leaders, when we win, the team wins. But when we lose, I lose. I did bad. When we win, the team did good. But when we lose, I did bad. And that applies for the president and politics the same. Because a lot of people love to blame the president, but forget we have three branches of government: the executive, legislative, and the judicial. The president is just a figurehead. And people need that figurehead because he's the quote unquote team captain, the leader. People love to do the primary vote every 4 years, but forget about the electoral college when the time comes. So you're not even voting for the people in your own town who will then help vote for the president. You think that your vote will change the things, but not realizing it is a team effort. So I need you to understand that it is okay to be who you are. And if you thought that this was it, it's not. So tune in next week. Tune in next week, because we will talk about how knowing does not give them the power to help you. So don't let it give them the power to hurt you. We will talk about ways to assess and possess your emotions. You control them. They do not control you. We will talk about variables that men need to solve this emotional equation. And we will talk about balancing who you want to be with who you need to be. The difference between surviving and thriving. And that will be our season finale. So I need you to tune in next week. But until then, I hope this message touches home. And I hope you feel that I'm not teaching at you. I'm just reaching at you because I am in the same position. So until next week, I love you and I'll be praying for you. Thank you.